All right, everybody. I'm going to look at this problem from section 9.3, surface area of cylinders. It's problem 14. So the problem says, what percent of the surface area of the Ottoman is green? Okay, so here's our Ottoman. It has the dimensions, and I basically drew a little picture down here so we can see what the different pieces are. So this is going to be 6 inches. And then this height will be 8 inches. And then the radius of our ottoman is 16 inches. So just kind of draw that on here. So that's going to be 16 inches. So I came up with a plan to solve this. The first thing we need to do is find the surface area of the ottoman, and it says not including the bottom. So if I want to find the surface area of a cylinder, I take 2 times pi times the radius squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Now, for this formula, this part of the formula basically gives me the area of 2 circles. But since I don't want to include the bottom, then I don't need the area of 2 circles. I just need the area of 1 circle. So let me write this formula again. I just need to figure out the surface area of one of the circles, the one on top, plus the piece that is going around, the lateral surface of the cylinder. That's what we call that. So now I just have to plug the numbers in. Okay, so this is 3.14 times, and the radius of the ottoman is 16 inches squared. I'm sorry, 16 inches. But in the formula, so I take pi times radius squared, so it's 16 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times the radius of the ottoman times the height of the ottoman. So for this value, I want the entire height. I want this value plus this value, so 14 inches. That's going to give you an answer. I'll just put a little box down here, kind of color it in. All right, so that's part one. Part two, this is one way to do this. Let's find the surface area of the brown piece. So just the brown piece. So we can focus on that. That would be also pi times radius squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Again, I don't need a 2 here because there's only one circle that I need to find the area of, and that's this one that's on top. Why? Because in the ottoman, the bottom circle is covered by the green part. So I don't need the area of 2 circles, just the area of 1 circle. So I can go ahead and again put the numbers in here, 3.14 for pi. I know the radius of the ottoman is 16 inches, and I square that, times 2 times 3.14 times the radius of the ottoman, which is 16, times the height of the brown piece. So for the brown piece, the height is just 6 inches. Okay, so that will give me an answer. All right, this will be inches squared, and for the first part, the units would be inches squared. Okay, I'll put a box around that. And put a box around this part. Okay, so now we have 2 of those surface areas. For part 3, it says calculate the percentage of the ottoman that's brown. So to do that, I need to take the area of the brown piece, so the area, surface area of the brown piece, and I just have to divide it by the total area of the Ottoman. Okay, that's all I have to do. And I will end up with a decimal here. This will end up being a decimal. Here. And you can turn a decimal into a percent by moving that decimal which direction. So I leave that to you to remember that. We learned that in chapter 6. Okay, chapter 6. All right, so the last part of this problem is just a subtraction problem. All right, so I'm going to take 100% and I'm going to subtract whatever I get when I turn this decimal into a percent. Okay, so I just subtract that. All right, and so this will give me my answer that I'm looking for. All right, put a little happy face on there. There's my answer. All right, and it will be a percent. Okay, so there's some calculations that you can use your calculator to get the answers to, and then just do a little subtraction at the end, and you will see that you can find the percentage of the area of the Ottoman that is green.